If I told you that the woman you have on your lock screen as a motivator, or the woman whose face doctors use as mathematical template for perfection, is actually going home, looking in the mirror, and literally wanting to cry, would you believe me? Welcome back to the channel, besties. Grab your coffee, your teas, and let's get into it. We are a society that is extremely obsessed with the genetic lottery. We as women will look at other women and be like, how could you be so insecure? And the truth is that there is a massive secret hiding behind some of the world's beautiful people. So that is what we're going to be deep diving into today. We're looking at what hides behind charts and why they might not actually feel as comfortable and as secure and as beautiful as we might expect them to. There's almost this astrological cosmic thing written into their DNA that doesn't allow them to perceive themselves with the same level of admiration and beauty that we do as the public. We're going to be unpacking 4 of the world's beautiful people's charts and looking at how these sort of distinctions define how they see themselves truly. So the first person that we're going to be opening the file on is what I call the Saturn filter. In astrology, Saturn is not your friend, right? Saturn is a strict parent. When Saturn touches your physical body or your planet of beauty in a birth chart, it kind of installs this permanent built-in sensor in your brain, right? No matter kind of how the world might praise you, Saturn in this case almost whispers in your ear, it's not enough. You missed a spot, you're still flawed. Let's talk about the ultimate Hollywood goddess. We're speaking about Angelina Jolie in this case. For decades, she's been, this very global standard of beauty. But Angelina Jolie has gone on record multiple times saying that she literally hates watching her own movies.
I really have trouble watching myself too. I don't. There's many films I've never seen.
She kind of really refuses to look at herself because she just picks herself apart. It's odd because how does that even make sense? Looking at her birth chart, Angelina is a Cancer rising and your ascendant is your physical body. It is your face, it's your aura. It's sitting exactly right on her ascendant is Venus as well. This is the planet of extreme beauty, right? And this is why she's so very breathtaking when we look at her. But what is glued directly next to her Venus is Saturn. Saturn is the planet of harsh, cold judgment. And Saturn is sitting right on her face. Every time she looks in the mirror, she doesn't see Venus, she sees Saturn. She sees the one tiny flaw that nobody else can notice. So if you have Venus touching Saturn in your chart, your superpower is your discipline, of course, and timelessness in the sense of how you express elegance. But at the same time, your biggest lesson is learning to stop punishing yourself for being human. Now, let's open the second file, and I like to call this the Virgo edit. What happens when your brain kind of processes your physical appearance as not a work of art, but this sort of stressful project, right? An ongoing project that needs constant fine-tuning, fixing, and refinement. We're entering at this point Bella Hadid. Bella has been incredibly vulnerable about her severe body dysmorphia and the anxiety and the feeling like she was ugly and the weird sister compared to Gigi Hadid while growing up. She literally changed her face because, she felt that, it was so inadequate.
It took me 25 years to even appreciate myself as a person.
When looking at Bella's chart, she has her Venus in Virgo, right? In astrology, Venus obviously rules over love, beauty, and aesthetics, but Virgo is the sign of editing, analyzing, and perfecting. Venus in Virgo is actually considered in its fall, and this means that the planet of beauty feels deeply uncomfortable here. So people with Venus in Virgo kind of don't see the whole picture when they look in the mirror. They zoom in on the microscopic details and they see one hair out of place. They see the slight asymmetry, and beauty becomes a sort of checklist. It creates a vicious cycle of physical editing. If I just fix my nose, then I'll be happy. And if I just change my hair, I'll be happy. But Virgo edit never really finishes the project. If you have Virgo Venus, then you kind of need to hear this. I want to say you're trying to essentially achieve this mathematical level of physical perfection that quite truly does not exist. Your beauty, it really is in the details, but you have to stop treating your face like it's this rough draft. Now, the third file that we're going to move on to is a completely different type of insecurity. In this case, what happens when you literally cannot see yourself at all? In this case, we're talking about the Neptune fog. Neptune is the planet of illusion and glamour, smoke and mirrors. The 12th house is the house of the subconscious. When you have a strong Neptune energy or personal planets in your 12th house, you kind of don't have a very solid mirror. You have a fun house mirror. So let's talk about Selena Gomez. Selena is universally loved, but she has a battle with her body image and has been incredibly painful in public about it. She's done interviews where she talks about crying her eyes out, because of her body and how it's changing over time. And, she didn't look like how she looked when she was a teenager anymore.
I grew up anxious. I felt like I needed to perform and I needed to be the best.
Having a look at her chart, her sun, which is like her core identity, is hidden in the 12th house. And it's the exact house ruled by Neptune. So people with 12th house placements absorb everybody's energy around them. So when millions of people are commenting on her body, she absorbs it until, her own reflection kind of completely disappears and dissolves into that Neptune fog. Plus, her Venus is exactly conjunct her Chiron, the wounded healer in this case, which is Chiron. And this is the planet of trauma. And, this trauma is glued to the planet of beauty. She took that immense pain, I guess, and created rare beauty. I guess in this case, if you have a 12th house sun, if you also have strong Neptune or Chiron touching Venus, then you absorb how others see you quite easily. And, your ultimate glow up kind of happens when you almost define your own sense of worth and you don't let yourself be defined by the standards of other people or what they perceive. And now the final, file that we're going to open is the darkest and most intense file. So we're talking about the Pluto obsession. This is for people who do not view beauty as something fun, to be fair. For them, people who have this configuration, beauty is like an absolute weapon. It's armor, it's survival. We're going to tune into Megan Fox's chart. Megan Fox is widely considered one of the most dangerously beautiful women of our generation. I think we can all agree. In her Sports Illustrated interview, she shocked the world when she said that she's never ever felt like she loved her body. Looking at her chart is like very heavily dominated by Pluto in Scorpio, and Pluto is the planet of death and rebirth and power in the underworld. So when you look closely, her Pluto is making a direct and intense opposition to her sun, which is her core identity. When Pluto kind of attacks your sun, beauty stops being a game, it becomes a matter of life and death. Pluto makes you feel like if you are not the most powerful and are not the most intoxicating, but the most perfect person that you can be in the room, then you are vulnerable. And Megan's dysmorphia comes from the extreme pressure to maintain a lethal level of perfection.
You said I'm really insecure about everything. I never think I'm worthy of anything.
Pluto kind of creates this constant cycle of destruction and rebirth. It's why people with heavy Pluto placements and energy go through such extreme aesthetic eras. They're constantly shedding their skin because they feel like their current skin doesn't fit quite well, it's not safe enough. And so if you have Pluto touching, your personal planets, or you also have strong Scorpio energy, your insecurity is actually just a fear of losing control, and you use your appearance as a shield. Your ultimate healing essentially comes from when you can realize that you don't have to be intimidating to be safe. And so here's the, I want to say, ultimate takeaway of this conversation. The next time you're scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, looking at a celebrity and hating yourself because you don't particularly have that look, I want you to remember this video and what we spoke about today. The people that you think are completely breathtaking and flawless are fighting demons in the mirror that you cannot even imagine. And insecurity is not entirely a physical problem. It's a cosmic lesson. True beauty is actually just this radical and rebellious act of accepting your own cosmic defects. I want you to sort of pull up your birth chart right now and look at your Venus sign, your own Venus sign in your chart by house and by sign, and look to see if Neptune, Saturn, or Pluto are touching it. And if so, please drop a comment and drop what your Venus sign is and any of those aspects, of course, that it's making to these planets. I'm going to be in the comments and telling you guys what your true superpower is. The exact thing that you probably think is your flaw is likely your superpower, and it's quite funny how this works out. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you take great care of yourself and remember how beautiful you are, just as you are.